Hello and welcome, Just Alive family. I'm your host, Melissa Kretschler, and this is giving you something to talk about live TV. Today, we're going to be talking about communication and connection in the digital age. And this is such a huge topic. And yes, we are going to be talking about random and spammy DMs and dick pics in this episode. It's going to be good. So if you are new here or if you are a follower, please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever social media platform you are on. You can also check us out on the website, www.justalivetv.com, where we are streaming live. As of today, we are now streaming live straight onto the website. I'm just going to actually go double check that. Yes, we absolutely are. This is great. Yay! Today's episode is sponsored by A Phoenix Identity, helping you to get rid of whatever is no longer serving you, reclaiming your identity and recreating your life where you're in control and you're creating it for yourself. So that is our spiel for today. I'm, of course, Melissa Kretschler, again, your host. I'm an identity coach and a spiritual teacher. And today, our guest host on communication and connection in the digital age is none other than Miri.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So I'm Miri Lenoff. I'm in Florida. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. It's been raining here, but we need the rain. So I'm excited to be here. Hopefully, we'll have a good talk for everybody.
Absolutely. So what are your favorite, let's start into the griping. Let's start to get into the complaining, because that's a chunk of the good stuff. What do you think is the most irritating thing on communication in social media these days?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, we talked a little bit about spamming. You're part of these awesome groups. And I actually manage a group, and all of a sudden you see these weird messages and you're like, why? Why are you doing this? There's so many other ways to sell what you want to sell or be yourself and make connections. But definitely spam, that's definitely my least favorite thing. Because it just like ruins the mood. People ignore it most of the time, if not all the time, and it's still around. So I would say definitely like spammy comments or not related at all to what the content is about. And I think we've all had those.
My biggest pet peeve is absolutely spammy, right? I get messages daily. I get people adding me on Facebook. Hey, like my page, join my group. People want to connect with me and add me as a friend on various social media accounts. And so I scope out people's profile first. I do not add you unless I've looked at your profile first, because come on, I have to, right? So I look at people's profiles, and some of the things that I look for are, number one, how old your profile is. Mm-hmm. That's guaranteed number one. If your profile says new, I'm not adding you. I'm sorry, but I'm not adding you. I look at what you've posted. So if your posts are original, if you've shared other people's posts, if you're not tagged in 101 with 101 other people, then I'm probably going to add you. But there's warning signs. Sorry, I'm putting my legs down off my nice chair leg thing here. I look for those red flags and those warning signs. So majority of the time, I pick and choose who I add and who I don't add. Now, if you've messaged me before I even add you, because you get your spam folder, you get your people you may know folder, I look at those, and if you've already messaged me, pitching me something, I'm not adding you.
Yeah.
I'm just instantly not adding you. I'm not even going to respond. And
yeah, for sure.
But then you get ones that look genuine, feel genuine, and then you add them and it's instantaneous. It's, hey, how are you? For me, it's not even selling. If you turn around and you message me and you're trying to sell me something, the first things that I ask myself are, what makes you think I want your services or need your services? That's the first question. Mm-hmm. The second question I ask is this actually relevant to me? Because most of the time you can see what I do, right? I've had people message me and they're like, oh, would you like a reading? And I'm a spiritual teacher. They're like, oh, do you want a reading? And I'm like, you do know that I do that, right? That like, I have my own reader. And then they're like, oh, do you need help with mindset? I'm like, you seriously have not looked at any of my content, have you? Like, they don't know, they don't do the research. And then it's like, oh, I have this that would help you. What makes you think that I need your help right now? And I'm not trying to be mean. Yeah. I will sometimes follow up with that question. I'll ask people when they message me, why did you message me? Or I'll say, what makes you think that, what out of my profile made you think that I was looking for your services, right? Or that I would be interested in it, right? I run 3 businesses. And if I want to hire somebody, I'm going to go out and look for that person. Right. And I'm going to do my own research. It's not going to be somebody who hops up. I can guarantee you that's one thing I don't do. If you message me and pitch me, I'm not going to hire you.
No, I 100% agree. And I think also seeing how many friends you have in common. And sometimes when you have 0 friends in common, it's like, how the heck did you find me? Like, how did that happen? I know Facebook recommends people, another social media recommends who to follow. But I think, it's that really kind of like tells you if they're within, your network, or if people know each other, because sometimes you get some people who, like you said, even if their profiles are not new, that you don't have anything in common with them, and you don't even know what they do because their bio doesn't say anything. So how do you want me to get to know you if you don't tell me who you are? And not even through your post, but like just in your own words. You have 200 characters, whatever the character limit is. You can say, this is what I do, or this is who I am, and I like to meet people. Feel free to send me a message, like say something so that people know how to communicate with you. Tell them I'm open to connections, or on LinkedIn, like if that's your thing, or wherever social media is, and wherever you are and wherever you like to hang out, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, whatever, they all have the same concept to give you a platform where you can connect. So using that in different ways, obviously for business, you use LinkedIn or even Facebook, but using that little bit of space that they give you, because they all give it to you, Instagram, whatever, just tell people who you are, what you do, and don't, when you friend someone, or you send a connection, or follow, whatever it is, then people are going to know who you are. And that way they don't even have to ask, so what do you do? And that's always an uncomfortable question sometimes, because that the following message is going to be, oh, I can help you with that. Or, and that's kind of like where you're kind of like releasing a little bit of the maybe a little bit of that energy of not knowing what to ask or what to say. If you do your homework and you're genuine about connecting because you think that person can help you in some way, is definitely going to be a better way and a better approach than just spamming everywhere and trying to get people, to reply to you and to make a connection. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? Creating meaningful and genuine relationships. So,
oh, absolutely, right? And then that's the problem with social media, right? Because now it's become, the minute somebody messages you and says, hi, beautiful, hi, queen, you're great, I love your content. What else? If somebody messages and you say, hey, I'd love to connect with other entrepreneurs or other business owners, and I love what you do. And I just, if they go into your profile and they like 3 of your posts, guaranteed they're going to ask you. Guaranteed. There's, and I've seen it taught. I've actually seen it taught. People are taught nowadays to do this, where go to their profile, read up about them, engage with their stuff, and then message them, right? And create this actual engagement. The problem is people aren't creating this actual engagement. They're just, they're copy and pasting the same thing. Now, if you message me to be on the show, I'm going to copy and paste about the show because it's easier. I'm not building a connection with that copy and paste. When we set up the pre-screening interview, that's where I go to build that connection, right? Because we're talking face to face and getting to know each other. But yeah, if you're posting, and I question everybody on whoever's watching or catching the replay, what do you find the minute you're asked a question or the minute somebody reaches out? What is your sign? What are your red flags for communication that's either spammy, inappropriate? Newest one that I've been finding quite a bit lately is my friends will message me, and people I've added. One lady is somebody I've had on my friends list for 2+ years. And all of a sudden she messages me, says, have you heard of FGG? And I'm like, oh, great, here we go. And I knew instantly it was about some grant that I'm not going to get because I'm not in the same country. I get messages about Australian grants, UK grants, American grant. I'm in Canada. Like, I know what grants are in Canada. We automatically get them. We don't have to apply for them unless there's something else going on. But
yeah,
the red flags. So what do you think the biggest red flags are when there's ingenuine, I don't want to say fake genuine, but ingenuine commenting or question?
I mean, I think there's kind of like a script that they follow. I don't know how, but you just know it's coming. I'm just waiting for the comment to say, you want to get on a call? Or when they say, oh my God, and I got a few messages of those actually today, where they say, oh yeah, how's business going? Or okay, it's coming. I know it's coming because I've only talked to you maybe 2 paragraphs ago or 2 messages before this, and you're already asking me about this. And I know that you're going to say, oh, well, I can generate leads for you. Would you like to get on a call to see how we can explore that? And, a lot of those comments I get, because instead of asking, how are you? It's nice to connect. I saw this on you. It's more about me. If you're coming to me and say, oh, I like the video you did last time regarding this and that. That's very interesting. And just genuinely see how the conversation goes. You don't need to have a script for every single person you talk to, right? Mm-hmm. And talk about things that you both share. There's a reason why you shared it on social media. Like, you're sharing it with the world, right? Or your friends. And just talk about that. Like, like last week I posted something because we all got together for a teacher's birthday, and I'm the PTO room mom for my daughter's school, right? And I just shared it. Like, if somebody comes to me and tells me, oh my God, those are awesome gifts that you got for the teacher, how would my perspective and my thought would change, as opposed to saying, oh, I see you do this and that. Would you like to get more leads? Like just like, it's more about personalizing. And that's something that I really talk a lot about, because it's about connections. And how can you make a connection with somebody who you're speaking with? Well, just look at what they do. There's no script. Just say, I think this is very interesting because of XYZ. That's it. And just see where the conversation goes. Absolutely. If you have kids and you're also their room parent, oh my God, that's a great idea for a gift for my teacher when next year or in a few months or whenever it is. Didn't it take a long time to build or to put together? There's like a million conversations that you can build off of one post, but it's not about pitching your services. It's about creating that relationship and starting that connection so that you're a human being. You're not a robot that has to follow a script, right? So I just know when it's about to come on. And when I reach out to people, a lot of times it's like, look, I'm not going to pitch you my services. Like, let's just get that out of the way. Yep. And I don't. If you want me to do things for you with like email marketing or whatever that I do, then great, that's awesome. But I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I'm not going to dissect your business right away. I'm going to connect and get to know you before we even talk about business, before we even do anything, right? Yeah. So it's just, there's so many ways to go about it. That's just one way where you can actually see the personality of someone. And if they haven't posted in months, you can talk about, and you can ask, hey, I see the last post you did was like maybe 3 months ago. How's it going? Like, there's so many things, and social media is social media. We're posting about our lives. It doesn't have to be about business. This is we're sharing things that have happened, that are cool things that are happening in our lives. So why not touch on that, right?
And that's part of it. Social media isn't those genuine connections anymore. It's sales now. Every social media platform has become all about sales and all about making connections. Where I was on TikTok today, and there's a few TikTok content creators that I would love to have on the show, because what they do really resonates with me. If anybody's watched Don't Cross a Gay Man, I was watching his live today, and I sent him some coins. Like, I sent him some coins because I love what he does. And I said, you know, I'd love to have you on the show because he defends people, right? Like, he'll talk about his stories out in the public and how, you know, he defends other people when other people are being judgmental, when they're being, you know, just rude, and he gets involved. And I love that, because I love standing up for people. I love advocating for people, and I love what he does. So I reached out, right? But it wasn't as a sale. It's not, hey, you need to work with me, or you need to do this, or I want to help you promote your career. No, I love what you do. And I'd love to have you on the show, right?
Right.
I created the show because I don't want to be doing social media marketing. I have two businesses in the background that, you know, are client based, and I have to do social media and marketing. I don't like it. And I struggled to show up consistently because I didn't like being like everybody else. I didn't want to be like everybody else and have it come off spammy. And I can't comment on things anymore without feeling like I'm being spammy.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
And for entrepreneurs, for MLMs, for entrepreneurs, business owners, for anybody in the social media world who is a creator or a business owner, it's lonely. We're doing an episode futuristically on, you know, on this topic, but I wanted to touch on it because of communication. We're lonely.
Yeah.
As entrepreneur, it's a lonely business.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
And if you can't make genuine connections to other entrepreneurs online without feeling like you're going to be spammed or sold to or marketed to, that's not a genuine connection for me.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I want to know how your life's doing. How's it going? Like, what's going on? How are you doing? Right? Like, what are you working on? Right? Like, just shoot the shit, for lack of a better word, right?
For sure, for sure.
Engage and have fun and feel like I'm actually connecting with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm going to just share really quickly a quick story. If you are true to connecting with people that you want to connect with, not that you have to, because they fit the checklist of what your customer avatar is, right? If you want to connect with somebody who seems interesting, who has great content, who you like to talk to and say hi to, then it's a very different story as opposed to somebody who you have to connect. So about a year ago, I connected with somebody who it was part of a networking group in Australia. This person lives all the way in Australia, does business in Israel, India, here, the United States, Canada, and all over the world. So we said hello. I was expecting a pitch, but I told them right away that that was good. And he said, no, I'd like to talk to you. So we got on a phone call, and he connected me to somebody here in the United States. Right now, that person he connected me with is one of my best clients. And we've been working together for like almost a year. And if it wasn't for this connection, the Australian connection, and approaching it in a way that is genuine and wanting to learn more about what he had to say, then it wouldn't have happened, right? But I had this mindset of just open up your mind to meet people that are going to help you in some way. It might not have been a client. It might have been an idea. It might have been somebody who has a podcast who would benefit me. Or it would have been maybe somebody who had kids the same age as me, and we can go to the park. Actually, I had that story as well. Somebody connected with me. They were, I think my sister-in-law connected with her or knew her from somewhere else, something with like on Facebook. We connected, and we said, hey, this is what I do. She told me what she did. And we actually went to the park with our kids and we got to meet each other. Our kids are the same age, and I have a new friend locally out of the whole world. She happened to live locally, and it was awesome. I'm not saying that you need to meet and bring your kids to the park with people that you don't know. We actually found out that her sister-in-law, I knew her sister-in-law, so it was a closer connection. But I met her through social media. I didn't meet her through her sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways and different things that can come out of connecting with people genuinely. It's not, we're not talking just about selling things. Actually, we're not even talking about selling things. We're talking about just making a connection and finding a relationship that you might not have been able to do otherwise if it wasn't for social media. Yep. So it's a really, if you have that mindset, then I think it changes things a lot, because you're not following a script, because you're not going to after people who fit the criteria, but you feel like a little bit unsure about, right? You're wanting to connect with them because you see something cool that you want to get to know them, or there's something in common there. And you'll be surprised. It's really fun to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never know what that person is, what their purpose is with you, right? Maybe they're there just to go for coffee. Maybe they're there for you to talk to and bounce ideas off of. Maybe it's, you meet once, get massively inspired, and then you never talk again. You never know what that situation, maybe they're not your ideal client, but if you build that relationship and a year down the road or 2 years down the road, they're like, hey, I'm really looking for somebody like you. You never know how that relationship is going to play out or how that connection is going to morph. Yeah. When you're genuinely trying to connect to people and genuinely trying to build on your relationships, that changes the dynamic of it. That opens up those doors where, like I said, if you message me and you try to pitch me within the first 5 sentences or 5 days or I don't care. It's not going to happen. I will not work with you past that point, because at that point, I don't need your services and you've just pushed them on me.
Yeah. And not only that, if this is the way that you're approaching new clients, then I don't want to know how you approach your current clients, right? It says a lot about you when you're contacting somebody, and when the first thing you said, like if you said something regarding the lines of wanting to get to know you in a way, a lot of people don't want it, and that's okay. That's valid too. They don't have time for it. They're there on social media to just be there, and they don't have the time. You don't know why, but that's okay. But it really says a lot about you and your services and yourself as to how you approach somebody in the first 2 to 3 sentences. If you are going right after the pitch, then okay, I get worried if I'm going to work with somebody who's going straight into the pitch and just wanting to sell something, because then what's going to happen to me as a client or as a customer, right? So it really says a lot about you, and it's not just connecting with people on social media. It's really affecting the way that people see you. So if you have that, then you really have to think about what would be your next best step. Not your next step, but the best step that you can take in order to grow. And yeah, obviously everybody wants to grow their business, but I think there's different ways to do it in a way that feels more genuine and that it's more heart-centered, like I like to say it, so that it's not so that you make sure that the client and the lead feels special from day one, actually from day 0, so that they can trust you. And trust is a very important word here, and that's what we're talking trust about. And we don't have a lot of trust right nowadays, like with the privacy issues that are going on, with all of the stuff with Facebook, the audience insights, how that has gone away, how people feel like they're being watched 24/7, which is probably happening, but and if you can't come along and break that model of what we have been kind of like inducted, then it's going to really harm you. So if you can have that trust from the very beginning, imagine how the relationship will change. It's like that's going to be the first appearance that you make with someone, and that's going to stay with that person for a long time. So how you present yourself that first time is so important, especially on social media.
I took a program with this woman, and only because I'm looking at it am I getting the story out, but I took a program with this woman. It was a business, so we followed the same business coach. We took a couple of the same programs that this business coach was offering, and we became friends through the program, or acquaintances, right? And her modality changed, her direction in business changed, which was great. And we would chat every so often and bounce ideas off of each other. And eventually she started posting her artwork. And I'm like, yeah, okay, right? And I actually commissioned this portrait from her. So that's actually me. But that's actually me. And I know it's not very bright right now, but that's actually me in like a chakra expressive painting. And I never thought that would happen. She never thought that would happen, but it authentically happened over an amount of time, right? Because we built that connection, that relationship. I always used to say, like, for me, when I started the coaching, when I started the show, I took some time off from my coaching, and I'm not promoting it right now other than, sponsoring the episodes, but I took time off. And I always said to people, if you have the time to add me and multiple other people to your network and message all of us and say, how are you? 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 Right? Do you have enough clients? Are you busy? If you're successful, then you've either taken time off to get more clients, or you hired somebody else, which means that it's now other people who are in your inbox messaging me, right, doing the sales, or you're not as busy or as successful as you want me to believe, and you're fishing. I don't like that. And see, that's one of those things that I can't stand. It's like literally having a guy message me and go, hi, beautiful. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. And end up getting the dick pics.
Yeah, no, those, especially because we're not even talking about dating sites. Dating sites have different sets of their own, different rules. Like, if you want to be dating, then you're on those. We're talking about, like, even LinkedIn. And I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. And I've gotten messages like that where I'm like, no, I'm not here for that kind of thing. If you want a professional relationship where we can talk about professional things, then fine. And I'll give him, sometimes I'm like, okay, block, done. I don't want to talk to you. But I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, you have a good service. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why are you approaching women this way when there's thousands of dating sites out there, right? That I mean, it's not even worth, doing it here. You know that you're not going to be successful. Like, why? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not, this is LinkedIn. This is not a dating site. So I'm out of the dating scene, so I don't even know like all the dating sites out there, but it's like, it's incredible to see that you're not using the platform for what it's supposed to be done. There's a reason why we have these different social media platforms. And if you don't know the rules, then don't play, because that's not what this is for. And you're going to get killed if you keep on doing that stuff. I mean, you can even get banned from them. So it's one of those things where you got to know what you want to do. If you want to find a girl and then use whatever Tinder is at, I don't know if that's still the thing. But like, be smart about it. Yeah, like be smart about it, because that's, this is just not the place. It's like you're at a dinner table and you're, I don't know, playing soccer on it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why are you doing this to yourself,
Oh my
right?
goodness. That reminds me of two things. One, honey, I'm sorry if he's watching. I apologize. Now that you mentioned, I can smell my dinner. I put some food in the crock pot this morning, and that's all I smell now. So I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait. I posted this meme a few years ago, and it was a woman sitting at a table breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. And the caption was, and it was like those whole paragraphs of a description that's disgusting and all this other stuff. And if you read the entire thing, you would know that it was flip-flops on the restaurant table.
Whoa.
The person wasn't talking about the breastfeeding. They were talking about flip-flops on the table at a restaurant.
Wow.
Which is gross.
Yeah. I mean, who wants that? Yeah.
Well, exactly, right? Like, do that at your own house. If you're comfortable with that, do that at home. And it was like this whole thing. I don't know how many people I had delete me, freak out on me, just it was such an uproar. And I've seen it and I laugh every time I see it, right? Because it's the assumption. But that's what made me think about dinner table, playing soccer at the dinner table. So that was a good one. But I almost associate cold messaging and cold selling like getting dick pics. It's unsolicited. You didn't ask for it. You have given no indication that you're even interested in it, right? Yeah. If I'm married. I am happily married for the last 13 years. I don't want dick pics. If I do, I'm going to message my husband. I don't need them from you, right? And that's the thing. We all have that 6 degrees of separation. There is a business coach. There is a life coach. There is, a social media expert, social media managers all over social media. And so if I posted on my Facebook right now, and I've got 3,500 friends on Facebook, if I said how many people do this, half my list probably.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking, I'm going to post that I'm looking. When I was hiring a VA, I was looking, and I posted that I was looking. And I ended up hiring one. It was, and you do your research, right? It's all trial and error. It's all figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Social media is meant for actual, genuine connection and communication.
Right.
That's what it should be used for.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think also, I hate to bring this up, but I think it has to do a lot because of the women, because we're women. And I feel like that also has something to do with how people communicate, the guy's not sending the guy this dick pics, right? So it's one of those things, unfortunately, that as women we have to stand up for and say, okay, no, this is not right. And sometimes it takes a little bit to just say, look, this is not what people want. Like, stop doing it. And even if you have to block that person, it's important to do, because that's how, if they continue to do it to other women, and they don't hear the word no, then they're going to continue. But we have to stop it and say, this is not right. This is not what we're here for. And it's not solicited. Please take it somewhere else. People might want to see that, not right here. So it's something else, when it comes to standing up for how we need to be treated. And I'm not here to give you like a feminist talk or anything like that, but I think even as human beings, we need to come up with a way that makes everybody feel comfortable with, on social media. And there's no set or written rules, but obviously social media is still new. I mean, it hasn't been around for hundreds of years, and we're still writing the unwritten rules that is going to affect us, for us and even our kids. So we need to define what is the right thing to do, what makes people uncomfortable, and how to play the game so that we can actually have a meaningful experience and meaningful relationships. If we don't do it, because Facebook is not going to do it. They have a lot of other things that they have to take care of. So it's LinkedIn, Instagram, all these social media platforms. It really comes from the users. The users create the content. That's the beauty of what this is. They're just giving you the platform. So if we don't stand up and say, this is not right, you really are harming the platform, then it's never going to change, and it's always going to be the same. So, and the dating sites can do whatever they want. That's different. You know, the Tinder or whatever, they can do whatever they want. But in here, Facebook, LinkedIn, in you know, the Western world, obviously there's a lot of different ways. This is how we do things. And I think we can create change if we continue to voice our concerns, to get people to understand how to behave. Because I don't think people mean to spend their time, you know, in a mean way. I don't think I'm a very positive person, and I always try to see the positive in people. So I don't think that people are out there on LinkedIn and Facebook trying to harm someone, you know, especially in the setting that we're talking about. Obviously, there's mean people everywhere, but we're talking about when people are making connections, right? And I don't think that people are there in a mean way. I just think that they just don't know, and they're
making themselves look bad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I for the amount of people who've messaged me, pitching me and promoting to me and offering me their services, I'm, you know, at one point I've been rude, at one point I've not. Now all I do is go, no, thank you, I'm not interested. You know, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm not interested. And I don't know if I've ever received another message after that.
Mm-hmm.
You come on and tell me that you want to build a relationship with me, that you like to connect with other like-minded individuals, because that's usually the biggest go-to. But as soon as I say no to your service or your pitch or your group, you never message me again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's not, that one, that doesn't look good on you. Two, that proves to me that that's all you wanted from me.
Yeah.
And three, that gives more people a bad name, right? Maybe somebody is genuinely trying to connect and they want that relationship, but because we are so inundated with all of that, it's like, okay, shut down, immediately shut down, right? And Bitcoin has been absolutely by far the worst in messages. I don't know how many women on my friends list have messaged me, have you done Bitcoin? No, and I am not interested.
Yeah.
Well, why not? It's the greatest thing ever. I said, I'm not interested. And it's never, and like, it just goes on and on and on. It's a mutual respect. If I'm giving you the respect of saying, hey, you know, I'm really not interested. Thank you though. And you're continuing that process.
I hate that.
There's no respect there.
Yeah, I hate that. It's not just respect. It's just enough. Like, you're not going to change. It's even sales. Like in sales, you know, you don't, if they say no, you can find out as to why, but there comes a point where you're enough. You don't need to hear it anymore. People are not interested. They don't want to talk to you. And all you're going to get is a block if you continue to talk. So just stop and understand what people want. And that's what I'm saying from the very beginning. Connect with people because you want to know more about them, not because you want to pitch them something. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, it's 2022. Like, people can really smell you from far away if you're gonna have a pitch about how to join the group and how to, and you're gonna change my life if I join your group. Like, it's not gonna happen. Just be genuine about what you have to say. And if people are gonna find out about it. That's what it makes me like crazy. That if you're connecting with people and you're genuine, if they see your profile, they're gonna connect because they're gonna see it. And if they want to, they're gonna ask. So it's really crazy. But
that's like the show. I will go onto social media, Facebook particularly. I'll go onto Facebook groups and I'll be like, who wants to guest host with me? Who wants to be a part of the podcast, or who wants to be a guest blogger? And I will go in and I'll post that. And I'm not promoting anything that I'm selling. The show is non-promotional, unless of course you're a sponsor, then it's, you're capable of promoting. I'm not making money off promoting the show.
Right.
I'm in the long run, maybe, but I genuinely want to share people's stories. And I'll go in and I'll ask people, but even commenting on somebody else's post, if like the comments I was making today on Don't Cross a Gay Man's TikTok, he was going live, and I'd be like, I'd love to have you on the show. And even that, I feel like I'm spamming. That's what society today has done. Even though it's a great opportunity for not only him, but not only the show, but him to share his voice, right? Because he is a content creator. I feel like I'm spamming.
Yeah.
And that's not okay, because all I'm doing is trying to create a connection.
Right.
A mutually beneficial connection that doesn't cost anything.
Right.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
You don't have to pay to be on the show. You have to pay to promote, but you don't have to pay to be a guest on the show. All you have to do is have a topic that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
That
totally makes sense.
That I can get behind and get passionate about and, bitch and complain about, because it's either a topic that's going to make you cry, a topic that's going to make you angry, or a topic that's going to make you go, oh my goodness. Right. And that's what I tell everybody. That's what I want. Right. Giving you something to talk about. And so I know that you have to go, so we will cut this off here. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything you'd like to add about that really quickly?
No, just basic steps. Definitely connect. We're not saying not to connect. All we're saying is to find a way to establish trust from the beginning. And that's something that I always do with my clients is, I'm a marketing. And it's really about that, creating connections, and not just any connections, but genuine connections, because that's who people are going to follow. And even if you're not selling anything, just to make friends, to build relationships, to just be better. So that's it. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. All right. Well, just a family, that is the end of our episode today. I want to thank you for joining us. If you are watching the live, catching the replay, or listening to the podcast, please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you are on. You can find the show Just Alive TV everywhere and anywhere. We have accounts on majority of social media platforms. Please help us, grow those likes. Please go to the website, www.justalivetv.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Be notified when we go live. You can watch all of the episodes right on the website. You can connect with all of our guests right through the website. And you can connect with me if you would like to be a guest co-host, if you would like to be a guest blogger, or if you'd like to contribute and become a sponsor of the show. This episode is sponsored by a Phoenix Identity, who helps you light your entire life up on fire. Just light it up, figuratively speaking. Reclaim your identity and create a life that is in your control and it's for you. So lots of love, Just a Family. Please like, follow, and share. And I will see all of you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Miri, for joining me today.
Bye.